Oh, it is I, your lord. We are almost at 2,000 subscribers. What? Oh my. What an almost amazing landmark that we have reached with this channel. Nothing could ever beat this wondrous galactic empire. The best army in all of YouTube, hell-bent on conquering this
platform.
And it's all thanks to you. And you. And especially you. Today, I want to talk about something very important that we all should know or have an idea of, or may not even know anything about. Greebles, and the importance of it on ship. Now, what exactly is a Greebly? Well, I'll let you know, I'll let you in on a little secret, okay? Now, Greebles have a very common appearance in most sci-fi films, and you know, anything to do with a big machine or a big station or you know, something just massive. Greebles have something to do with kind of like the random sporadic little shapes and different lights and colors on a spaceship. That's basically what it refers to. Now, a very amazing and probably one of the best examples of this is from Star Wars, the Imperial Star Destroyer. And as you can see, yeah, there are a lot of Greebles. Now, specifically, you can see all throughout the command bridge, the lower deck of the ship, basically around the side. For a ship that's relatively flat and, you know, smooth, like on the triangle angled parts, it's very flat and very smooth. But kind of everywhere else where it's like recessed in, there are a lot of just random shapes. Now, you could explain this in Star Wars as they're different habitat modules. Some of them are observatories. Some of them are components of the ship that need to be close to the outside of space so they can cool down, like vents or heated generators or what have you. Like this. Like what the hell is that? Is that a capsule? Is that just a circle that's there? Maybe they thought it looked cool on the ship, so they just put it there. Now, Greebles are important because that's what makes the ship so alive, so much life within the ship. If the Star Destroyer did not have any of these Greebles, well, it would probably look something like this. Yeah, not too exciting now, is it? Even with a little more detail, even with the armor plating on the ship, it would still be a little bare. Even ships in other universes of sci-fi games, alien ships tend to still keep the same Greebly design. For something smooth like the Covenant ship from Halo, you can clearly tell that there are still recesses, there are still areas where there's Greebles, random lights, random areas where people would be. But having these little recesses or like cut in parts of the ship just bring that ship so much life, so much more thought to it. You know, what could be in there? Are they areas where guns are held? Are there areas where, you know, there are habitation pods or escape pods or just random lights? Clearly you can see hangar bays there. So today in Space Engineers, I want to talk about how you can make your ship look so much better just by adding a tiny, tiny detail with color and Greebles. Let's jump right into it. So here we are once again in Space Engineers, looking at this very, very simple looking ship. Just something quick I designed. I put no effort into it, nothing at all. It has all the basic components. But essentially, I kind of made just like a warthog looking kind of spaceship. Like it's got like this kind of bulbous cab area, and then it's got these wings with missiles on it, and then it's got a turret right below it, kind of simulating like a gyroscoped little auto turret on the bottom of the Warthog, which in this case is just an auto cannon. Obviously it's a big ship. And yeah, but I put no detail. So it's got battered armor. It looks pretty cool on its own, but there's just so much more you can add to this ship. So the first step that we're going to take is we're going to go look at this ship, take it in, just kind of analyze it, see what you really want to change in it. Now, looking at this ship, I think it's pretty bare. It's too plain, not enough angles, nothing smoothed out. So I think that's what I want to work on first. I'll just do a quick time lapse of it and I'll show you the result afterwards. But I think what I'm planning is we're going to change the wings that are sticking out, maybe put them a little more on an angle pointing forward. We'll use hinges and rotors to do that. We're going to change the cockpit bulb to kind of accommodate actual space and room for the pilot to sit in, as well as the rear thrusters. We're going to smooth them out, maybe make them a little bulkier, maybe bring them back a little bit. We'll kind of just go as we build. as well as just reconfiguring all of the components on the inside if need be. Let's just get right into it, Chonk followers. Fuck! Ah! And we're back. Look at this ship so far. As you can see, we've slimmed it down quite a bit. You can see that I have fully extended the wings. I've made them a lot slimmer, put them on an angle, 2 different angles. So I've got an angle like the angled blocks to make it angle forward, and then the hinges to kind of put it on just a 15-degree angle, give it that sleek, speedy kind of look. Actually very reminiscent of my Reaper class starfighter for the Tundarian army. We've also got these nice looking angles for the back of the thruster. Just kind of made it very slim, very tucked away. So they're not super bulky, but they are these big hefty engines. And I left the top exposed because I've got a good plan for these exposed piping, because that really adds a lot of detail. As well as the cab, which we have slimmed down a lot. We actually have this recess right here, which kind of helps with the Greebles kind of look. I'm going to change this block, I think, into, well, I'll just do it right now. I'll just do that, change that like that. And then we still have a connecting conveyor piece, which is just the O2 generator right here. So we can add, you know, maybe a turret to the bottom, which is the design that I want. But I think I'm going to do a little different, something a little special. So now that we have the basic design, the basic redesign of the ship that we have now created, we want to go in and start adding the Greebles. Now these Greebles are going to be very minimal on this ship specific, but having them will greatly improve the look of the ship. Now, you want to be clever with your Greebles. You don't want to have too many, but you do want to add a lot. Clearly it's a military ship, so it wants to be very armor, very slim, but we will still incorporate just a little bit of the Greebles technique. to add that extra detail. So let's get right into this, shall we? Okay, so here it is. We're basically done. So, what I forgot to mention at the start, and I will probably add some hints as the video plays, but it's important in this stage where you're finalizing the body, changing the structure, adding those Greebles, is to add color. Color is a huge thing. Now, why color is very important to add to your ship. It really highlights those areas of your ship that you want to be, well, highlighted. For example, so I have this recessed area right in the front of this angle, and I really want that to I really want that to pop. So to do that, I simply added a very, very high contrast color to this darker color. So I added white, kind of this underbelly tone, for the front end. You know, this looks like a bulkhead, something that's a little tougher than the rest of this protective armor. So it jets out very, very distinct on the ship. You know, it really catches your eye. Obviously, that's the front of the ship. You can really tell from those colors. Another thing I added on this ship was everywhere I kind of had these Greebles areas, these, you know, kind of aesthetic looking pieces, I kind of made it darker, like this black color. Now, that also helps pop out or darken those areas, thinking that, you know, this is a recessed area. You can really tell that, you know, nothing's really going on here, or there may be some sort of purpose other than, you know, extra support. You know, it's got these like steel girders here to kind of add support, a little more strength to these said areas. Another thing I want to talk about is when coloring, because Space Engineers has these DLCs and everything, which if you don't have them, it's kind of a shame that you can't use them, but that's fine. I strongly suggest, you know, spending the extra $5 or $4 or however much it is just to get these DLCs that you may want to help your ship pop. Now, I have pretty much all the DLCs thanks to a lot of you. But some DLCs that I think are pretty important are the ones that add these sci-fi colors and the caution tape colors. Now, using these caution tape colors, I like to use them around the thruster areas or, you know, areas of danger. So if this ship was landed, you know, caution, do not stand under the engine. Don't go near this area, because in game, you can actually get hurt by these areas by hovering this close to an engine, or if it were to take off, you could get damaged. And these sci-fi paint blocks really allowed to add extra piping and detail. So right behind here, obviously, is the thruster. I didn't want that really exposed. I wanted this to all kind of look like one body, but you can tell these are paneled, so maybe you could open these up and you could actually access that thruster on the side, like the cone, and as well as these piping areas to kind of just add some more pipes to the ship. And it also has it here, and I tried continuing it here, but on this sci-fi panel block, it doesn't actually have the piping, which still looks fine. It's kind of like black, it goes all the way up, and then you can see these armored pieces along the side. And that's another thing. I decided to add these battered armor blocks because it actually looks a lot better when you add battered armor to the panel blocks instead of just having this kind of like, it almost looks like a trap door or like some sort of door or opening block. It looks very repetitive all along here, but this kind of looks nice. It just looks like it's bolted all together. You know, you had these square sheets and you bolted them all together. It makes it look a little more smooth, as battered as it looks. Again, on the bottom of the wing, I kind of have these like support structures, or like the supported parts of the wing. You know, these are the more robust parts. Not necessary if you really want that thin angled wing look. I suggest just using the panel blocks. And then when it comes closer to the actual bulky area, you could use blocks to extend it down, which I may add on this ship, but I think it looks fine just with this simple strut. And then it comes down again, and then you can see the big missile pod where I added kind of like a cone just to kind of extend it, make it a little good. And you may have noticed that I added this hinge and this rotor here. Now I will get to that very soon. Now, like I talked about on the top, I wanted to keep these exposed, but I decided that, you know, I want them covered just a little bit because they are a component. They are, you know, important to kind of keep safe, but I wanted them exposed. Like, I wanted you to see them. And you can accomplish that just by simply putting a catwalk on top. You could also use a vent window or whatever. You could use sliding doors and you just open them up and then you leave them open, or you close them. I did it on a build way back in the past and it looked really good with that design, but I kind of wanted to keep that same open concept area where you could actually access some components here. Well, and you can't actually access it through these ones, but you could, you know, simply take off that panel and then get inside that area. Now, the last step, pretty much the last step. I want to add armaments and a little bit of an interior. Maybe color the interior, add a little more lighting, just kind of like the simple stuff. But for my idea of the weapons, I want to add some sort of Gatling gun or autocannon on these wings that are fixed. They're not a turret, they're just kind of small ship blocks that stick out, and you're able to like fire them manually. They'll be angled in a little bit, so it actually hopefully doesn't hit this angle, but should have enough space to shoot at its max range wherever the camera is looking. So you could be in this ship, you could enter the camera, and then while flying, you should be able to shoot exactly in front of you. As well as down here, I'm going to have some sort of gimbal turret that will be able to shoot on its own. And I think I'm going to try using the the script block in Space Engineers, because I don't really like it, but I feel like if it's not a tank, it works perfectly, because you basically add the block, enter the hinge, turret, rotors, and all of that, and it shoots perfectly fine. No fuss, no muss. It's amazing. So I'm going to go ahead, start on the interior, and I'll see you once I'm done. I hope you enjoy. Wow! Oh my god! Oh my god. So here we have it, the two variations of this ship, or well, the original and the redesign. Now I know, it's not just Greebles that I added. I added small turrets, I added new colored thrusters, I added a new shape to the ship, but all of it boils down to just adding a little more time to your ships. Starting off with a Mark 1 or like an original copy just to get an idea, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's no reason why you can't build off of the existing ship that you already have. But as you can see, it is very different from the original, but it still keeps the same idea in mind. I still have the double thrusters, the like extended thrusters off the back. I still have these extended wings with the missile pod still attached onto it, fully functioning, all hooked up, and it still works perfect. And it's super easy to do. You just have to take a little extra time. Now, I think we can all agree that the Mark II of this ship looks 1,000 times better than this one. But there's nothing wrong with a simple design of ship. This ship is fully functional, it works, it does its job just as well, if not better, than this new design. However, if you want a little nicer looking ship, it is fairly easy to do so. Now, what I've added onto the ship without, if you couldn't already tell, is I added these smaller blocked kind of structures onto the ship for its weapons, and it looks super good. And I think I may start doing that with more of my designs, making some sort of a scripted turret or like fixed block kind of gun, because it adds just so much more detail to the ship. So we have the two, they're the exact same on both sides, autocannons, and what I kind of had a design of was kind of just, some sort of plating to protect the actual gun, but like an ammo container. Like, this is an autocannon, so you could imagine this is just a big belt-fed magazine for the autocannon. It's not hooked up to the entire ship, so to refuel these guns, you would actually have to come outside and refuel them. But with these small cargo containers right under the gun, it's just a complete, simple, direct way of feeding ammo into the gun. So it could still carry quite a bit of ammo even for its size. And honestly, the design I think looks great. It looks super robust, but also sleek and slim. It's a really cool design that I like, and I think it really goes with the rest of the ship. I also added these neon lights. Just kind of, well, this one kind of goes into nothing. I could have had it like actually turn and go into this block as if it's some sort of exposed power line that, runs the actual cannon, or the remote control to the cannon going back to the ship. Just adds a little more detail. Again, that you could classify that as Greebles. No actual purpose, but you kind of make up the purpose just for the look. And then on the bottom, we have this scripted turret that I designed, and it's mirrored, but I have a knack for just kind of making mirrored objects offset. So I have this random round piece here, but then there's a camera here. I could have put a spotlight on this side, but I like the idea of having these kind of bug-eyed looking spotlights right below it. So spotlight has really no purpose, but it kind of looks like it makes it more intimidating when it's staring down its target, and you can see these kind of almost red laser beam or red eyes staring at the fighter or even ground vehicles that it's attacking. And then there's a camera, because this script specifically, you can use, this block, you can use a camera, so when you control it, it goes straight to this camera as if it's any regular turret. And I think it looks great. It looks really good. It's got, it's pretty simple, but it goes with this kind of bulkhead style. It's got these armor plates and these bulked out white parts like it is on the cab. So I think it fits and suits really well with the ship. Something else I added was the colored thrusters. Yes, it's a mod, but it's a very simple mod. So if I were to spawn this in a vanilla world, the only thing is thrusters won't be colored. So I'm trying to do a lot more builds vanilla style, because I really never did that. As soon as I got the game, I really wanted mods, because I really like the mods, and this game had very bare bones to it. But I think they're doing a lot with the addition to all of the DLCs and everything, so it just adds it to the game, and you can have it wherever, whatever server you want. Still waiting for that shield update. You know, they've got it. You really have to add a shield update, because once they do that, I basically don't need any mods. But also with this ship, we have a simple and nice interior. As you could tell, it's, again, very simple. This is more of like a drone ship, but it has pilot capabilities. So you can come over here, get into the cockpit, and now you can control this ship, and you can, you know, shoot anything you want. You can shoot its missiles. Oh, and I had to get rid of the tubes on the missile pods, because it was colliding. The missiles were hitting it, and it just wasn't functioning as well as I wanted it to. But you can just shoot missiles out. Then you can switch to your auto cannons, and it does hella damage. And if you notice, because I have it on a 1-degree angle, the cannons start cross-firing way in the distance. But yeah, here it is. That is my design of a ship. I think I'm gonna name it the Pigeon. The Pigeon, because the Pelican is already taken, and it kind of reminds me of a pigeon somewhat. I don't know, the white belly, the kind of grayish blue tone to it reminds me of a pigeon. So it's the Pigeon. It's the fucking Pigeon Mark II. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. Click that bell icon if you haven't already, because it really helps out when you get notified of my videos. And who knows, you know, something that isn't Space Engineers related, you may watch it, you may like it, you know, get into it. I am very good at other games. So go ahead, if you haven't checked out any of my other videos, go do that right now. They are great. They're amazing. Join the Discord. Become a true soldier of the Chonk army, and we have a lot of fun on there. You know, you can post your ships, post your designs, game ideas, and whatever. It's a really amazing community, and I'm so proud of it. But that's all I have today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next. And as always, stay thick, stay beautiful, stay chonky, my Chonk followers. This has been your Lord playing, again, Space Engineers, now signing off.